Hey guys, thanks for joining. Today we're going to be talking about how to build personal credit, how to structure your personal credit report so that way you can get approved, because it's not always about the credit score, but rather what are your credit data points. And in today's video, we're going to be going over what those data points need to be in order for you to optimize your credit score. So without further ado, my name is Nicole Scott. If you haven't by now, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Credit Coach Nicole Scott. I'm always dropping some fire videos that literally people are charging you thousands of dollars for. This guide that I put together has thousands and thousands of dollars worth of valuable information. But of course, I'm not charging you guys for that type of value. So go to the link below, get your copy. This information is what the professionals are charging you guys thousands of dollars for. So go to the link below, get your copy, and I promise you, you won't be disappointed. Of course, if you are disappointed, I will gladly provide you with a refund because, of course, if you guys have watched any of my other videos, you know I'm going to keep it real with you. You know I'm going to give it to you totally raw and uncut, unfiltered. Sometimes there might even be a little curse word here and there, and I don't sugarcoat shit. So there you have it. So let's get straight to it. My name is Credit Coach Nicole Scott. This is a little bit about me, and you can follow us on all of our social media platforms. Now, personal credit. What is the goal with personal credit? The goal is to have between 10 and 20 positive trade lines. Now, what does that mean? Trade line, any type of credit account, preferably most of those we want to be credit cards, some to be, installment loans, maybe like an auto loan, student loan, mortgage, things of that nature, something where you pay the same amount every single month until that balance is paid off. Revolving accounts are credit cards. They change from month to month based on your spending. Of course, we want to make sure that we pay all of our bills on time. Okay. And we also want to make sure that we keep our credit utilization below 10%, preferably between 2 and 6%. But I even keep my utilization sometimes at about 12%. As long as you're under 15, like I said, preferably under 10. The best is between 2 and 6. So if you're looking to apply for new lines of credit, you want to really make sure that your utilization is only 2% and that you don't have a balance on more than 2 credit cards, because banks will look at all of that. So, of course, the more positive trade lines that you have listed on your profile, the more credible you are. The more accounts that you show that you pay as agree, you manage properly. How do you manage a credit account properly? You pay the bill on time. Okay, no late payments, and you make sure that the utilization is below 10%. So if your credit line is $1,000, 10% of $1,000 credit line is a $100 balance. So you want to make sure that prior to the statement date, again, the statement date, not your bill due date, but your statement date, that your account balance is below $100 if your credit line was $1,000. That's how you control what the credit bureaus have on file, because the credit card companies only report your account information to the credit bureaus once a month, and that is on your statement date, or maybe it's a few days after your statement date. You can always call the creditor to ask them, hey, what is my statement date and what date do you guys report to the credit bureaus? No matter what date they report to the credit bureaus, they're still going to report your account information as of the statement date. So make sure that you are updating your account balance before the statement date, okay? Just to make sure, so you can control the utilization. Now, there's a difference in trade lines, primary trade lines, authorized user trade lines. We want to have at least 10 primary trade lines, 10 primary trade lines. Those are accounts that are in our name. We are responsible for paying. We don't have any late payments. Our utilization is fairly low. Those are primary trade lines. Those can be student loans. Those can be auto loans. Those can be any sort of a credit account that is in your name that you're responsible for paying for. Okay. Then we have authorized user accounts. Those are accounts that other people are responsible for, maybe your mom or your friend, or maybe you purchased an authorized user trade line and you're basically added to someone else's account, and you get to inherit all of that account history, and you also get to inherit that credit amount. So when people are looking to get higher limits, they often add authorized user trade lines to help enhance their overall credit profile. And that helps them piggyback off other people's good credit. And of course, then they're able to get larger lines of credit and things of that nature. But it's still very important for you to understand that you do have to have, at least 10 primary accounts. Authorized user accounts are used to enhance the credit profile, but they are not going to just get you approved. People add authorized user accounts, then they'll have a high credit score like 700 or above, and they are still getting declined. That's because these accounts don't belong to you. Therefore, the creditor needs to see accounts that belong to you, that you're responsible for, that they can ensure that you're going to pay your bill on time. Okay. Why do we want to use authorized user trade lines? Well, we want to add history to our credit profile, right? This is a way that you can add history because 15% of your credit score is based on your credit history. And sometimes that's one of the data points, right? So sometimes when we don't have enough history, we can actually add age trade lines, authorized user trade lines to our credit profile to give us more history because it does go off an average. We can add higher limits. So again, like I was saying before, if you want to increase your overall credit limit that you want to get, then this is a great way to add higher limit credit cards to your credit profile. Because if your highest credit limit is only $500, why would the bank feel like they need to give you $25,000? Like, where have you shown that you are able to manage that type of money? So you want to show, hey, I have these higher amounts, therefore I'm good for it. Okay. It enhances your approvals for some types of accounts. So it might not work for mortgages and things of that nature. So you want to really understand, what is your goal? What are you going after? Because if your goal is to buy a home, then you're going to need to have some primary trade lines that are in your name that you've paid on time for at least 12 months and no late payments within the last 24 months. So those are some things to think about. Number 4, boost your credit score. So trade lines are always going to give you a boost. Typically, you can expect anywhere between 3 and 5 points for every year. And of course, when we are looking to add authorized user trade lines, we want to make sure that they meet 2 pieces of criteria. 1, 100% on-time payment history. Trade lines are no good even if they have 1 late payment. We don't need any late payments. We need our payment history to be 100%. Okay. Second is we need to make sure that their credit utilization, the amount of money that they actually owe on that credit card, is below 15%. So if you do decide to purchase trade lines, because maybe you don't know anybody that fits these criteria, we do verify that all the trade lines that we offer have a credit utilization below 15% and have a 100% on-time payment history, because those are 2 of the pieces of criteria that you have to double check. Okay. Number 5, you can piggyback off family, friends, purchase trade lines. And again, we want them to make sure that they have 100% payment history and a utilization under 15%. So if you have a copy of our book, then you actually get to view our discounted authorized user trade line list. So we have the best pricing. If for some reason you found pricing that is lower, we have no problem meeting the same quote that you received from another company. So we will be more than happy to do that for you guys. But this pricing is the lowest that I have seen anywhere because we have such a good relationship with our vendor. Okay, we've been with them for a while. We get the best pricing. What do your data points need to look like? Well, that's a great question. So this is an example of what a 750 credit score, their data points should look like. So 100% on-time payment history, credit utilization, again, between 2 and 6%. Okay. 0 derogatory marks. So no collections, no charge-offs, no bankruptcies, nothing of that nature, right? And sometimes even when you do have a few derogatory accounts on some bureaus, you can leverage the bureaus that don't have that derogatory information. So if you're having a hard time removing a bankruptcy off of Equifax, but it's not on Experian or TransUnion, then you can leverage the credit bureaus that you're good with. So just understand how to leverage your credit properly. Credit history. So our goal with the credit history, in order, if you really want a strong credit profile, you want to have 5 years or more. So the goal is 5 years or more. Total number of accounts. We talked about this earlier. It should be between 10 and 20. This account, this particular example has 17. So that's right on the mark. Okay. Because again, you want to have a diversified credit profile. And this is considered your total mixture, your credit mixture. Okay. And this accounts for 10% of your credit score. And if you guys aren't familiar with, the percentages, typically with the FICO versions and with other credit model versions, payment history is 35% of your credit score. Credit utilization is 30%. So between those two categories, that's half the battle. That's 65% right there by just you paying your bills on time and keeping your credit utilization very low. Now, credit specialists like myself, we can't control any of that. So these are things that you have to do. So now 65% of your credit score is up to you. Okay. Paying your bills on time, keeping your credit utilization low, 0 derogatory marks. That is not included in the calculation, but if you do have derogatory marks, it does take away from your overall credit profile. The history is 15%. You can always add trade lines to enhance your history. And then, of course, your credit mixture. This is the amount of accounts that you have open, the amount of trade lines that you have open on your credit report. Okay. And again, we want this number to be between 10 and 20. This is 10% of your credit score. So our goal would be to have, about 8 to 10 credit cards. And I know that might sound like a lot to you. So if that sounds like a lot, just focus on 5. Okay. Just focus on 5. And then 2 installment accounts, right? And if you don't have an auto loan or a student loan, you can always get accounts. And we're going to go over what some of those accounts look like in today's video. And then the last section here is hard inquiries. This accounts for your new credit, right? This is 10% of your credit score as well. So this is new credit. And, the goal would be to have less than 5 inquiries per bureau. We know that if you're using your credit, you're going to have some inquiries. But if you do have unnecessary inquiries, try to get those removed. Any inquiry that is not tied to an open account on your credit profile can be disputed and potentially removed. Okay. Now, here are some credit tips. We just went over all of these data points, but I put them in writing for you guys just so you'll have them documented, because our goal is to get over a 700 credit score, because it's not hard. Before I really started educating myself on credit, I was always able to get approved for things, but I never had a 700 credit score. I had a high 600 and a strong 600, but I never had over a 700 because I just wasn't educated on the different data points that are needed in order to get into the 700 club. So these are all of those data points broken down for you here. Okay. And then the last tip here is to start building relationships with better banks. Okay. Credit unions or community style banks. So that way you can get better credit products, you can get better rates, just better overall approvals, because you have an existing relationship with them. And in this guide, you'll actually see some of our recommended banks and credit unions for you guys to build relationships with. How do we build a credit report after we remove negative items? So this ebook is actually going to give you step-by-step instructions on how you can actually build your credit report after you've gotten credit repair, because a lot of people think credit repair is just going to be the answer. Well, it's not, because you still have to rebuild and restore your credibility. How do you do that? They have to see your ability to pay your bills on time. They have to see credit lines that are in your name. So this information is actually going to show you how to add that information to your credit profile and give you some tips on how to do it. Here are some free resources for you guys. This is credit boards. So a lot of people always ask me like, well, what banks are good that pull TransUnion because my Experian account's not great or my Equifax account is not great. Well, credit boards is a secret hidden gem, and you can actually go to their credit pull database and look up maybe only places that pull TransUnion and look at some of the data points in which people got approved or denied, so you can further understand, hey, is this a good time for me to apply? Because you don't want to waste an inquiry. You really want to go about building credit strategically and really, doing your research before you just go and just willy-nilly apply for everything. So you don't want to do that. You want to be very strategic, and credit boards is a great resource for you to research. If your goal is to get an American Express Gold Card, well, you got to know who American Express pulls from. They pull from Experian. What type of data points do they look for? Typically, they look for at least, 680, 690, possibly a 700 credit score, depending on how strong your profile is. Okay. I've seen people get approved as low as a 690. But I've also seen people in the low six or the high 600s get denied. So it really just depends on how strong of a credit profile that you have. Okay. And how much of a relationship you may or may not have with them. Okay. Credit Karma, it's good for the data and just kind of getting updates. Of course, the credit score is not accurate, but it is good to kind of give you an idea of what is taking place, if there's anything added to your credit, if there's anything removed from your credit. And overall, you want to just understand that this is not a FICO scoring model. This is a Vantage scoring model, and a lot of the banks use a FICO. So your FICO score is different because it has a different algorithm that it uses. It's a different scoring model altogether. NerdWallet is a good resource for you guys just to kind of find some information that might be good for you to build credit. I actually use NerdWallet quite a bit, and they've gotten really popular over the last few years. For more information, we have a lot of free information out there as well. These are my link tree, and you can access them through this book. All of these links are interactive, so you can click on them, and it will take you to exactly where you need to go. If you do need credit reports, you want to see all of the data that's on your credit reports, you can get them from Smart Credit. This is going to give you all 3 credit reports side by side, so you can easily determine errors and inaccuracies, because you can send screenshots of these errors pointed out to the credit bureaus right on there. Hey, this is wrong. Clearly you see TransUnion is reporting this as this, but you are still reporting this as, derogatory or whatever the case may be. So it's a cheaper way for you to get all 3 of your credit reports. And again, this is a Vantage score. So if you are looking for a FICO score, you will have to pay a little bit more with My FICO. And My FICO, I believe, starts at around $39 a month for all 3 of the credit bureaus. You can also do all 3 of the credit bureaus, which updates every 3 months for $29 a month. But this is going to give you your real deal FICO scores. And if you're not really too worried about your credit, like right now, I am not too worried about my credit. You do get updates and you get notifications as things change with My FICO. So honestly, I just have the $29 a month plan, which gives me a complete 3 bureau coverage, and it updates every 3 months, because I'm kind of at the point where I'm kind of stagnant with my credit. I don't need to apply for anything for a while, so I'm good. But for those of you that want to update every month, it would be like $39.95 a month to get your FICO reports. Credit One is a good starter card for you guys. You can actually pre-qualify for a card by just clicking on this link. They do help out a lot of people that have lower credit scores, and they are not secured for the most part. And it is a pretty good, credit builder card, because sometimes we have to start with these, tier 1 type of personal credit card companies. Rent Reporters is a great way for you to add a trade line to Equifax and to TransUnion. So if you've been paying rent, you can actually add up to 24 months of rental history to your credit report. And that's going to give you, this is the only primary trade line that's going to give you history. So this is super awesome. And I've helped a lot of people get on with Rent Reporters. And I'm telling you, it has really helped, because you can add the history. So you're adding those on-time payments to TransUnion and to Equifax. You just have to have, whoever you're paying the rent to, you have to report it. So if you want more information, you can always reach out, and I can provide you with some more information, or you can contact Rent Reporters, because if you have been paying rent, get that added. We want to put our cash on our credit report. Okay. All of the payments that we're not getting credit for, we want to start getting credit for those. Okay. Because that's all building credit. Credit My Rent, that's another one that you can add to Equifax and TransUnion. If you don't have much installment history, you can definitely add Credit My Rent and Rent Reporters to help increase your credit history overall. But typically, we want to diversify our credit profile a little bit. So we definitely want to just add maybe just one rental one, and then some other, secured loans or something like that. Credit builder card. So this is a great secured credit card for people that have very challenged credit because you don't really need a credit score. So it is a secured, meaning you have to put a deposit down, but that's going to help you start building payment history, and that's going to help you start building trust. So even if you can't get approved with anyone else, you can get approved with Credit Builder Card. It is a master credit card. It does report to all 3 credit bureaus because we do need to have at least 5 credit cards that are in our name, preferably, more, but 5 is going to be the goal just to start out with. Plus, we're going to need some installment loans. Okay. So here's self lender. Speaking of installment, this is a great way for you to add an installment loan to your credit profile. Okay. There's no hard credit pull. So for those of you that have a hard time getting approved, maybe you have a low credit score right now. So you're like, no one will approve me. I can't build credit. No, that's not true. There are places out there that don't even require a credit score or a credit pull to add these primary trade lines to your credit profile. Rent Reporters is another one of those accounts. Okay. Self lender, no hard pull, reports to all 3 credit bureaus, and you can cancel at any time. So this is going to help you save money because it's like a credit builder loan. So you're paying a monthly payment on time every month, and it's going to help you build credit because, again, credibility is your ability to repay back debt or pay your bills on time. Okay. And you can apply here by just clicking on that button right there in the guide. Pedal One, this is a really great fintech company. And if you guys aren't familiar with what fintech companies are, essentially they are companies that go off of different data. And honestly, I'm a huge fan of fintech companies. They actually are more realistic when it comes to their approvals, and we're able to get a lot more approvals through fintech companies. And Pedal One is a great option. So you can actually apply with Pedal One and see if you get approved. There is no impact to your credit score. So you can read more about them on their website. Credit Strong. Credit Strong is a really good credit builder loan. It is similar to self lenders. So you don't want to add too many installment loans to your credit profile because, again, these are installment loans. So they do report that you owe money. So if you go to the Credit Strong's website and say you select the Magnum plan, which is a $10,000 secured loan, which a lot of people need to do because they don't even have that high of a limit, right? So we're adding higher limits. But the downside is it's going to report that you owe $10,000 until you cancel it. Now, I always recommend people to keep these type of credit builder accounts depending on where you're at with your credit, anywhere from 3-6 months, and then you can cancel it. Now, after you cancel it, it will show a 0 balance, but you have to make sure to pay the bills on time because I've had several people sign up and then make mistakes. They got a late payment with these type of accounts, and that's totally goes, against what we're trying to accomplish here. So it's really important that if you sign up for these type of credit builder loans, you have the funds to pay for it. You make sure that they're on auto pay. You make sure you're managing, you're putting the payment due dates in your calendar. You're putting reminders on, you're being responsible because that's what it takes in order for us to be credible. Okay. You can watch a YouTube video here more about Credit Strong and how it works and how you can add it to your credit profile because I'm a huge fan of Credit Strong. And again, our goal is to add those larger amounts to our credit. Tomo is another fintech credit card that you can apply for, and no credit history is required. So sometimes they have, weekly auto pay that is required to help you build that credibility. But they are actually reporting to 2 out of the 3 bureaus. I believe they're reporting to TransUnion and to Equifax, but they're not going to pull your credit. So it's a good credit card. It is MasterCard, and that'll help you build up some credibility as well. Sky One, that's a decent credit union to build a relationship with and just start, getting these better bank accounts with credit unions or community banks because people that have bank accounts with like Chime, there's really no benefit with Chime. Yeah, they have a few things, but you can't get any real credit products with them. They won't give you a loan. They're not going to be able to give you a car loan or a credit card that's, any good. So we want to build relationships with credit unions and financial institutions that can provide us with a long-term credit, in some stuff that we need in life: auto loans, mortgages, credit cards, funding, personal loans, business loans, things of that nature. Greenlight is a great starter card for like your children to kind of get them more familiarized on how debit cards work and things of that nature. Extra, you can actually build credit with Extra. So it's kind of like a debit card that reports to your credit. The credit bureaus really don't know how to categorize this card quite yet. So they kind of have it under the other category, but it does help if you open an account with them, because the more trade lines that you have on your credit profile that are showing paid as agreed, the better. Okay. Aspire, that's a really popular one for people that have, lower credit scores. And you can actually pre-qualify for up to $1,000 limit right here by clicking on the link in this book. Group One Platinum, this is a jewelry merchandise company, so you can apply with them. I am not 100% sure how everything works with them, so you definitely want to just contact Group One Platinum and see exactly how everything works and what bureaus they actually report to, just to verify, because things are always changing. Luxury card. This is another MasterCard. We've got another luxury card up here. This is the titanium one. We've got Milestone. That's a real popular one with a lot of people. Milestone is pre-qualify. So that means that there is no impact to your credit score. You can pre-qualify to see if they will qualify you for a card. And that's what a lot of people are scared of. They say, I don't want to apply if I get a hard inquiry. Well, this is no hard inquiry because you're just going to pre-qualify. Destiny's card, MasterCard, same thing here. No impact to your credit score because you're just going to see if you pre-qualify for the card. Fit Platinum, another MasterCard. Here you'll get a $400 initial credit limit, and it doubles to an $800 credit limit, and you can use it anywhere where MasterCard is accepted. So it's a really good card. And again, our goal is just to build, more credit with different companies to help build our credit history. And of course, then we can use those cards to then get better cards with credit unions and better banks. But sometimes we got to start with these cards. These aren't the best cards, but they're also not the worst cards, right? Because a lot of these cards are not secured. A few of them are. And of course, sometimes we have to start with secure cards. It just depends on where you're at with your credit. Surge is another one. This is a MasterCard, and you can actually see if you pre-qualify, and you'll get an initial limit up to $1,000, and it will double over time. So you can actually see if you pre-qualify for that. Amazon. So Amazon, this is considered a store credit card, and it is a secured credit card, but it helps you start to build credit. And again, if you are approved, then you can kind of read in here, but it will graduate. So with secure cards, it's always good to understand, is this card going to graduate into unsecured? And it does graduate to unsecured after 12 or more months, and the deposit will be refunded to you. So it's a great way to get in good and start building a good relationship with Amazon. And, I am a huge fan of this card, and I think it helps out a lot of people. Discover It, another really good secured credit card. So this is actually a secured credit card. If you do qualify for unsecured, that's great. But most people, they'll start with the Discover It card, which is a secured card, and it actually graduates as well. So this will graduate after about 7 months. And when they tell you it graduates, they're saying it will graduate as long as you pay your bill on time and you keep your credit utilization low. You manage your account properly. Don't go and max out your credit card and not pay it back almost immediately. Okay. Don't max out your credit card and not pay it back prior to the statement date. If you are going to max out your credit card, it's extremely important to know that you need to pay that balance down below 10% prior to the statement date. So, okay, about 3 business days prior to the statement date, you need to pay your balance down so it doesn't report to the credit bureaus, okay? Because that'll really mess up your credit score. I've had people that have got secure credit cards that maxed them out. And, $200 isn't a large amount when you look at the bigger picture, but when your credit limit is only $200, it is. Okay. You have to understand the credit limit versus what you're spending. So if you are going to spend it, make sure to do it wisely, right? If you have a $200 limit, then you need to make sure that you're only spending about $20 on that credit card, okay? So we want to make sure that we are, in fact, managing our accounts properly. So Capital One is a good card to kind of try to get pre-approved with, just because they do have a lot of, forgiveness within them. I would say, even if you have had bad blood in the past with Capital One, chances are that they will probably approve you, because of the fact that they are pretty forgiving. They do have the Quicksilver that offers cash back. I don't think the Platinum offers cash back, nor does the other cards. So the Quicksilver is the one that I would actually request. Okay, so moving on, let's go ahead and talk about this is actually Go-To Bank. It's a secured Visa credit card. No credit check, no annual fee. Credit limits start out at $100. So again, our goal is just to build more personal credit, because sometimes we don't get approved for everything right away. We have to show that we are responsible and that we're going to pay our bills on time. And it takes those type of accounts to build with. eCredible. So eCredible is a great way to raise your credit score overnight with TransUnion. So similar to like the Experian Boost, eCredible is really good because it reports all of your payments to TransUnion that are like utility and things of that nature. So go to their website, check them out. I highly recommend them. It's a great way to kind of get you a good boost with TransUnion. Kickoff is another one you can actually build credit with, and they are really good, just to kind of get you kickstarted off with your credit building journey. Experian Boost, they will add all of your utility to your Experian credit report. Now, when I talk about Experian Boost, this is only for Experian. It does not affect TransUnion. It does not affect Equifax. So this is only going to boost you. So if you have things that are on auto pay that you've been paying for a while, like Netflix and things of that nature, some utility stuff, then they can actually add those as on-time payments to your credit. Now, I would not and count those in my 10 primary trade lines. These are just bonuses. So again, 10 to 20, these are going to be like bonus accounts. Okay. If you are in need of a personal loan, we do offer personal loans on our website, creditcoachpros.com, where you can go and you can pre-qualify to see if you qualify for a personal loan. So if you don't have any loans in your name, getting a personal loan is something that you definitely want to do, because you want to take money out and you want to pay it back. You want to show your payment history. Even if you don't need it, if you don't have any personal loans, how is anyone ever going to be able to trust you when you don't have any history? So it's important for you guys to show personal loans on your credit report. We just updated our portal, so we have a ton more lenders that we just added that are going to help you guys with your approvals. Okay, so go ahead and go over to our website. You can actually click on this little button right here to apply now. Bonus info. Oh, I love bonus info. So if you guys haven't heard by now, Navy Federal is, one of the more popular credit unions out there. And they actually have what's called a pledge loan, or a secured loan, as some people call it. They call it a pledge loan, a certificate pledged loan, because it is a secured loan, meaning it's your money that you have in your savings account. And this money is going to help you build a relationship directly with Navy Federal, and it's going to help you build credit. So if you have a little bit of money in a savings account, $1,000, a few $1,000s, you can do a secured loan, pay your own money back, and it's going to help you build a relationship with places like Navy Federal, PenFed, so on and so forth. So if you are a member with Navy Federal, this is a great way for you to build what would be considered an installment loan, okay? And it's just using your own money. So again, putting our cash on our credit report, because if you want a larger credit limit with Navy Federal, sometimes you're going to have to do a secured loan. Let me tell you a story about a client that I have worked with in the past. Their first credit card with Navy was a very, very low amount. And then once they actually did a secured loan, which is a pledge loan, they were able to get a much higher credit limit of $20,000 and then $25,000. So they did a $25,000 pledge loan, and then they were able to get higher limit credit cards. So again, if you want to build a relationship, you want those higher limits, sometimes you want to do high amounts of secured loans if you can. If you can't, even if you can do the $1,000, $3,500, $5,000, whatever you can do that, because it's going to help you put your cash on your credit report so you can actually use that cash and leverage it with credit. You can also do that with PinFed. So you can take the money that you would be getting from Navy. You can also do the same thing with PinFed, and it will help you build a relationship with them as well. So I recommend that same strategy with any other credit union out there that offers the secured loans, because it's a great way to start building a relationship with that bank and put your cash on your credit report. Okay. And I'm telling you guys got to take action, because this is a super gem right here, and people literally charge you for that. This is the secret lenders list. A lot of people talk about this list. It's just a quick list of places where they pull from, what their credit requirements are. And keep in mind, a lot of this information you can look up yourself on credit boards. And we went over credit boards earlier. So you just have to go to their website and do the research. These are the best secured credit cards with credit unions. So there's PBC, there's DCU, there's SDFCU, there's Navy Fed, there's First Tech, there's Affinity, and there's New Vision. So these are all really great secure credit cards that you could potentially build with an actual credit union. And these are the best banks to build with. So if you do have issues getting in with like banks, maybe because you have something on your check systems report or something like that, just get your report and we can do a consultation. I can give you my honest answer as far as what I think you should do. Now, let's talk about the best credit unions. These are the best credit unions to build credit with. Alliant, they are pretty much like a TransUnion Bank, America's. I'm not going to go through all of these, but you can actually go through and start building relationships with some of these credit unions, so that way you can start getting better credit products, because a lot of these credit unions have really good credit products. They have auto loans, they have home loans, they have lines of credit, they have home equity lines of credit, they have business funding. And if once you have a good personal relationship with these banks, you can often transfer those relationships into your business banking and business loans, because you already have that established relationship with some of these better credit unions. So please start building. We cannot do this for you. This is something you'll have to do. You do not have to go to a branch. You just have to call them. A lot of times they can do everything over the phone. You can email in what you need to do, or you can upload it to their portal. But a lot of times I have never even been to a branch to open up a bank account. I have bank accounts with Navy Fed, PinFed, First Tech, FNBO. I have a bank accounts with a lot of these places, and I've never been into their branch to actually open up a bank account. All of this was done over the telephone. So there's literally no excuses for you to say, oh, well, I don't have a branch near me, or I live in the middle of nowhere. No, I live in the middle of nowhere. There is no branch near me, and I still made it happen. So pick up the phone and open up a bank account. Okay. Now, let's talk about some places that you can get personal loans for with a 600 plus credit score. You can go to our website, the Credit Coach Pros /personal loans, personal-loans, and you can apply there. We have relationships with a ton of different personal loan places, and they will match you with whoever is going to approve you. We have relationships with One Main. We have, so many lenders in there that are willing to give you a personal loan to help you out, and of course establish your payment history, so that way you become a stronger candidate and you are more credible, because the more credit accounts that you have that are paying as agreed, and again, like, utilization only counts for credit cards. It doesn't count for personal loans. Now, there is something that you need to consider when it comes to personal loans, because your debt to income is an issue with some places, right? When you go and buy a home, they don't want to see any debt. And if you have personal loans or a lot of personal loans, they might want you to pay those off before you get approved. So you don't want to add too many personal loans that you can't handle, right? These are just used to help you, maybe get some funding. If you want to start a small business, a lot of times we have to fund it ourselves first and then kind of transition over into business credit. These are great ways that you can do that responsibly, of course, because we don't want to get our credit to the point where we can't get funding and then mess it up with the first bag that we get, okay? Because there's way more bags to get out there. There's hundreds and thousands and millions of dollars that you can get in credit. So do not mess it up with a petty $10,000 loan or, just a small amount. People mess up their credit over a $500 credit card. And I just tell people it's simply not worth it, because you can get hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can get a home, you can get properties, you can get whatever you want in this world with credit. Okay. So there's so much opportunity, but you just have to be disciplined. Okay. Be disciplined. I know it's tough, but believe me, it's worth it. Okay. Because we want to get you into that home. We want to get you some property that you own, that you can pay and not have to, worry about housing for the rest of your life, not have to rent. Okay. Building wealth. Okay. More personal loan options here. PenFed is a great option. This kind of just goes over like the max amount of loan and the credit score that may be required. A lot of times these places don't tell you a credit score because they don't approve you off a credit score. Okay. They approve you off of your data points. Okay. And we went over the data points earlier. 100% on-time payment history. You want credit utilization very low. When you are applying for credit, you want to make sure that you don't have balances on more than 2 credit cards. And the credit card balances are very low, no more than 15%. Okay. And even then, you might have a decline because you have too much open debt. You just have to really be strategic about it. When you are going to apply for any type of funding, it's always best that you have your credit cards at a 0. Okay. Just to show, hey, look, I have all these credit cards and they're all at a 0 balance. So clearly I don't need the money, because that's the thing. People don't want to lend to people who need the money. They want to lend to people who don't need the money. That means that they're not financially struggling, because they look at it like this. These $500 credit cards, these $200 credit cards, these are simply a test to see how you're going to react, because this ain't nothing to us. This is a drop in a bucket for us. But to you, this is going to affect pretty much the next 7 years of your life. Okay. So it's a test. Make sure that you manage it properly. Make sure that you pay the bills on time. Make sure that you don't max out the credit cards. Because I'm telling you, no matter what you go through in life, it's not worth messing your credit up. And I know sometimes things happen, but we have to make sure that we're responsible about it. Okay. Now, next is going to be NASA. NASA is a really good federal credit union. I really like them. They have good mortgages, memberships, business services, and so on. Unsecured loans, unsecured versus secured. So what does that mean? Unsecured loans, meaning you don't have to secure it with anything. It is unsecured. It is not secured by an auto. It is not secured by a deposit. It's simply them giving you money with the expectation that you're going to pay it back plus interest, right? So you can get some unsecured loans from us on creditcoachpros.com. You can apply for the personal loans there. We also have business loans, but in this case, you'd want to just go to the personal loans tab and check your rates. Credible.com, you can check your personal rates with them. Upgrade, and then of course SoFi. Those are all good options for you guys to get some unsecured personal loans. Okay. Next is going to be more bonus information, because I'm telling you, this ebook is full of value, straight value. So this is the personal credit cheat code. It literally gives you all the game that you're going to need to get your stuff in order. And I'm telling you guys, I put a lot of time and effort into this ebook for you guys to take action, for not you guys just to buy it and have it and say, oh, I've got your ebook. No, read it. Understand it. If you have questions, ask. There's no such thing as a stupid question. No such thing as a stupid question. The only thing that's stupid about a question is the one that you don't ask. Because if you don't ask and you were thinking it, it's stupid not to ask. Because if I'm here, leverage me, ask me questions. There is no such thing as a stupid question. So that is it, guys. There is a link below for you guys to obtain the book. And I hope that you enjoy this. I've hoped you have gained some value from this information, because my goal is to educate you guys on long-term success when it comes to credit and managing your credit and being able to build credit and get funding and get the things in life that we can't afford to pay for in cash. But hey, if we got good credit, we're good, because if we got good credit, we're paying low interest rates. And we can qualify for anything that we want. Autos, homes, properties, businesses. If you want to buy a franchise, a lot of times you're going to need to get funding. Okay. So please, please, please take action. Until next time, guys, my name is Nicole Scott. Make sure that you have subscribed to my YouTube channel, Credit Coach Nicole Scott. And until next time, guys, take action.